The Rob Dibble Show congratulates UConn women's basketball as once again they are the national champions.
Out to Fudd. Long two for the left. Got it. Gives it to Strong, top of the key. She's going to fire up a three and make it. Back-to-back threes for the Huskies.
This was one of the more emotional Final Fours and emotional national championships that I've been a part of since that very first one.
And that'll do it. On a strong and easy Sunday in Tampa, the 40th season for Geno. The final page has been written, and the final sentence is UConn women's basketball 2025 national champions.
Got that feeling!
And now, here's Rob Dibble.
Well, as we've come to expect from the UConn women over the years, don't ever count them out. Don't ever put them as a 2 seed when they should have been a 1 seed. Absolute domination, and then destroy South Carolina in the championship game. A lot of different storylines, but I think that the best storyline is it's one of the most well-coached programs for the past 4 decades. And it's not just the championships, it's the type of players that come out of the program. And you just see that with the freshman, Sarah Strong, AZ Fudd, who has had multiple injuries, Paige Beckers, who's had multiple injuries, and they come back stronger, and they don't quit. And that's basically how they got to where they are. I mean, you could talk about the 5 years, but this is really the first full healthy season of the UConn women with AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers together, with the bench as deep as they were. You look at Ashlyn Shade and KK Arnold started 35 games last year as freshmen because they needed to. And then you come back this year and absolutely dominate 37-3, and you're the national champions for the 12th time, and Geno stands alone now more than John Wooden, more than any other college coach in history when it comes to national titles.
I thought that the national title performance was their best performance. I almost put it in the terms of performing. Like it was such a great watch all throughout the year of this team continuously getting better. I listened to an interview between games, between the Final Four and the national championship, with Caitlin Chen, who transferred over from Princeton, which, by the way, had fellow Princeton people in the. That was so cool to see.
Her whole team.
Her whole team
was there
to cheer her on for another team to win a national title. It's just so unique. But she said, we have not played our best basketball yet, and that's what we're excited to show. And, like, it feels like a Broadway show that, you know, finally comes together and all the pieces are fitting, and that cast is so hyped to show everybody what they can do together. South Carolina, man, those girls are tough, dude. Like, every aspect of the game, very well coached. They've got All-Americans all over the place. They've been together for quite some time. You know, they've been to the last 3 out of 4 Final Fours. That was no pushover. And the whole entire way, it was no pushover. But the dominant performance that they had was just spectacular to watch for all basketball fans. The backdoor cuts, the KK Arnold 5 out, taking it to the hole. Just the defense that everybody talks about AZ, and she's most outstanding player, MOP, well-deserved. Everybody talks about her shot, which you should. You cannot leave that kid open. But her defense this year, especially the back half of the season, was a huge difference maker in those games, blowing the door wide open. And again, she's doing this against Pow Pow. She's doing it against the best guards in the Big Ten and the SEC. And it was no problem once again. And the biggest thing, yesterday, I just kept remembering our show we did when we found out the news that Paige Beckers got injured again. Remember that show? It was like a devastating day in the state of Connecticut. And I remember we said as a show, this is a person, like, it was after Tiger Woods' knee injury, because we were kind of coupling these superstar athletes, Simone Biles as well. These are people you do not bet against. Against all odds, these kind of people, this is the difference between them and the above average. This is greatness. Like with Paige and what she's mentally had to overcome with those injuries, get back and win a national championship on her final run. Like, an amazing accomplishment. These women, we say this all the time, this program is second to none across the board in all of athletics, because of the people that are a part of it.
Well, and I think that the kids need to look at some of the interviews. KK Arnold's mother, KK Arnold in third grade, said she would play for UConn. And KK Arnold's mother was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of a lofty goal. And here she is winning a national championship. Paige Beckers, before she came to UConn. And obviously you don't know what the next 5 years are going to bring, and nobody can predict injuries and all the other adversity. But she's like, as a senior, I'm going to win a national championship, and I'm going to be the number 1 overall pick in the WNBA. Now that's how you need to visualize things. And it's very difficult today in 2025 with so many issues going on with entitlement and these travel programs and things like that. And to have AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers, who were opponents for years, come together on a team and be great people, great to their teammates, unselfish. I just think that's also attributed to the coaching staff. They find good people. They seek out good people. I think in 7th grade, KK Arnold had been recruited by UConn. Who does that? And so that's the kind of stuff that, the winning's one thing because you're expected to win. It's not just a UConn thing. Everywhere, like South Carolina, I feel bad. Dawn Staley is a great coach, but she is the first time she got beat in the finals. And she's got to deal with that now. And if you look at Geno, he's 12-1 in the finals. And I'm sure that one stings way more than the 12 victories. So that's what we're talking about here. It's 40 years in the process of recruiting. There's a picture of Chris Daly on a camel in Egypt recruiting El Alfi. This program, just like Dan Hurley, you get the best people, you get the best result, and I think that's what you look at with UConn. They have brought in the best people for the last 40 years, and that's why they're hard to beat.
I thought Paige's game all season was really measured, and it's really tough, especially when it's your last go-round. You want to try to squeeze every last drop out of that towel, man. You want to get everything possible, and it's real easy to come out the blocks really hot and try to force a lot of things because it's your last time. I thought Paige this year was so measured in how she handled every game with, a pace to get everyone else involved. She had to turn it up a couple of times, and in the Big East tournament, she turned it up. In the NCAA tournament, she turned it up. Of course she did, especially in that USC game. I know all that, but she had a pace about her for the long game. She knew that the games in March, especially the last 7, 8, 9 games of her season, are going to be the most important, the most scrutinized. And she also knows her teammates real well, and she just let the game come to her all season long. It didn't feel like she was forcing anything. It didn't feel like she was trying to be the best player in the country. It just felt like she was playing her game every single time and was not forced one way or another to veer away from that. Plus the off-the-ball stuff, or the off-the-court stuff, like the way that she handles her teammates, the way she talks about her teammates in press conferences. I know you guys saw the hug line. Like when she gets taken out with a minute and a half to go, and her and Geno in that embrace that lasted like a minute. Who knows what was said there, but we all could feel that emotion.
We know what was said there because Geno said it. She said she loved him, and he said he loved her, and it's the first time she's cried since she's been at UConn.
She said she hated him.
She said that jokingly. She says that all the time. But, listen, that's the respect that they have for Geno. And I don't care if it's Taurasi or Rebecca Lobo or Maya Moore or anybody that's played here. They understand that they're part of a family. That's the difference. Some of these other programs, you go there, you play, you go on to other stuff. You don't have that kind of bond. But the bond that's been created for 40 years is exceptional. I wanted to give some of Paige's numbers for the tournament. Averaged nearly 25 points a game. This is where she's unbelievable. Shot over 50%, almost 53% from the field. She was 48.3 from three. Think about that. Almost 50% from three from the start of the tournament against Arkansas State, San Diego State, etc., or South Dakota State, excuse me. But she, like you said, when we needed her most and she needed to step up, that's what true champions do. And I don't care if it's LeBron or Kobe or Michael Jordan or anybody. You've got to flip a different switch, knowing, listen, they're going to try to stop me. And she shoots all over the court. She's not just stepping on the logo and firing up a three. She's shooting 15-footers off balance. She's got two girls in her face, and she's making those shots. And that's why, even in the WNBA, wherever she goes, those people are going to be spoiled watching one of the greatest to ever play the sport.
It's going to be fun with AZ next year for sure. She's going to be very dominant as she finished off this year. I love what I see out of Sarah Strong. I mean, her play, it felt like the national championship, South Carolina, UCLA, just another game for Sarah Strong. She had a block in the, I think, second period, maybe in the third quarter. I don't know. But it was like, this girl's only 18. She's the next. I know AZ is going to be up for some Wooden Award nominations, Naismith nominations. But Sarah Strong is going to be the next big deal on campus that's going to continue this legacy on. And they keep on coming, man. They keep on coming. But like you said, it takes recruiting those type of people. And that's not an overnight thing, man. These, like you're saying, KK was a seventh grader when they first started writing her as far as interest in playing on this program. So,
oh, no, they signed her to a letter of intent.
Right. So
as a seventh grader.
It starts early, and to pick out those people as a seventh grader, that's a tough thing to do.
Well, thank God for that. Thank God for Chen. Ashlyn Shade hit the first three to get things going back, and once we got the lead, I mean, everybody contributed, and that's how teams win.
Yeah.
And I think South Carolina, there's just too many weapons, way too many weapons, and that's something that, when we're healthy, I think that's the product that Geno wanted to coach this year. And it's funny, I was watching the Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, that broadcast, and because they give a lot of insight into Geno, that, Geno has a big ego and wants to keep winning. And so when people are trying to get him to retire, why would you retire when you have the team that's coming back next year? That I would want to coach that team. And so, you not only promise these women to come there and do things the right way, the UConn way, but I think he loves watching them play as much as anybody. Once they do all the work, they put in the work and, practice 7 men on 5 women at practice, which I think they don't get enough credit. But again, like you said, Paige Beckers gave the practice team credit for coming down to Tampa and supporting them. There's so much they don't see and think that it's easy, and it's not. It's just amazing coaching and drilling and training and making them mentally tough so that when they get in these games, like you said, it looks like Sarah Strong, it's not a big deal, but that's the coaching. That it's, her parents coached her. They were both pro basketball players, but then Geno and the other girls policed that to where, like, even Geno during the press conference, he's like, keep talking. They want you to say more. She will eventually get more comfortable to speak more freely publicly, but as a basketball player, honestly, she's not a freshman. Even I think Rebecca Lobo said that. You're not a freshman anymore. You've already played almost 40 games or 40-plus games. She didn't play like a freshman in the championship.
Well, I'm glad she's here because hopefully maybe this will be another person that Coach Geno latches onto and doesn't want to leave in retirement. He is 71 years old. It was brought up in the post game 3 nights ago. God, 2 nights? 3. It's all running together, man.
Yeah.
But he was asked about, being as old as he is, one of the oldest or the oldest coach to win a national title. And he talks about being around the girls and being around kids. and how he does not feel 71. He feels more like in his 50s and like his friends that are that age than he does friends his age, just because he's around kids and they make him young. But Sarah Strong's special. Justice Page is special. And I know we have more coming that are already signed up that are high schoolers that are going to be special. But this guy, and hopefully everyone's been able to cherish what he's been able to do for this state, for women's basketball, for the brand of UConn. There's so many things to be proud of because of that man. And, we have been spoiled as the, basketball capital of the world. We have been spoiled with this guy in particular because he continues to pump out great teams, great people, and national championships.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to just constantly, throw all kinds of compliments his way because of the humility that they have as a basketball team.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing. All right, we'll continue to talk about UConn. We'll continue to talk about what's going on out there in the sports world. Yankees lost. That's why we were pushed back a little bit today. It's getting pretty crowded at the top of the American League East standings between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox and the Yankees. And so we'll talk about that. They're all 6-5 right now to start the season as the Yankees lose 5-0 to the Detroit Tigers. It's the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Kurt Kaplan on the ones and twos. We'll be right back after this.
Fox Sports